Good evening, gamers, and welcome to a special winner's interview with our man, Kris Ghouls Hill from Team Turbo Blaze, celebrating his win at the Full Grip Games Mega Evolutions Gym Leader Challenge 3K that was held recently in Akron, Ohio at Full Grip Games. Now, before we get into this interview, we do want to give our sponsors and partners over at Collectors Connection a huge shout out. This one's going to be a little bit different. We got to meet with those guys over this past couple of weeks and really get a feel for the people that we're working with. And man, I can't express enough how happy I am to be partnered with these guys. So if you are in the Minnesota area, the Duluth area, check out their website at Collectors Connection Duluth. Get involved with their events. They do Magic, they do Pokemon, they do all the trading card games. So it's definitely a great place to find your local home if you're looking for a place. That's collectorsconnectionduluth.com. Well, here we are, Ghoulies. This is a very proud moment for me as one of your good friends, someone who has, I started following you when you were crafting the egg mill strategy. I watched an interview with you and Z-Man, it feels like years ago at this point. And dude,
Yeah,
it's just so awesome to see where you are now. How you feeling, buddy?
dude, feeling amazing. Feeling a little just like I don't know, like still in shock, still like in awe, and I'm just feeling really grateful for sure.
Yeah, man. So I think that this is a perfect opportunity for, the world to again meet Kris Ghouls Hill. As the person that I know him as, this is one of the smartest minds in Gym Leader Challenge, one of the smartest minds in Pokemon. Any trading card game, I'm sure that he dipped his toes into over life, he would have been successful. He's a Pokemon lifer. He has only known this game. And Gym Leader Challenge has been a big passion for him over the last couple of years. So without further ado, let's get into this winner's interview. I know people are dying to hear some of your thoughts leading into the tournament and about your day. So let's start with, from the top, Ghouls. How are you feeling coming into the Full Grip event this past weekend? I know this was your first chance to really kind of journey away from the homestead to make a big event. So, walk us through what was going through your mind being away.
Yeah, there's all kind of pressure I felt for sure. Just like, you know, leaving my family for a like solid like 4 days. I felt like just like the weight of like, man, like I'm literally leaving my wife to just like, to herself to deal with our two kids. We have two young kids, so that's no easy task. And so like I was just trying to make sure like above everything else, like done everything I can to make sure that the house is like good, ready to go, family set up for success as much as I could. There's a lot of like work going into that from a family perspective, but I'm super grateful to my wife for just holding it down and just like encouraging me to go and supporting me, to do that. And so I just like felt like the weight of that, number one, to be like, okay, like this is it. This is my first tournament to leave to be a professional Pokemon player, and just like straight up, okay, I sit here, I play on webcam, I make all these decks. Like, okay, this is literally like my time to shine. I was just like super excited because um, I had been getting like so much FOMO, like by like watching you guys just like shred in all these IRL events, like and definitely like super supportive of y'all being able to do that. But like I wanted to be involved, like I wanted to go and like actually compete, and so I was like I said, there was a weight there, but there was just excitement. Like there was just like pure just like joy of like, dude, like I actually get to like interact with an opponent like face to face. Like what, that's cool. So I was really excited about that. um I think like going into the event, I was also just kind of like in like a weird headspace because we have been putting, I mean, I don't even know how to begin to count the hours of preparation for this day. Like, I was very confident in about like four decks that I could play to like win the event, and I was just like, which one to choose, you know? And there was so many that I just wanted to play, right? Like, I think I called Logan every single day and just been like, dude, today I'm playing Eggmill. I'm confident I'm gonna play Eggmill to this tournament. You know, and then like another day, like I just like be playing RDT, and I'm just like, this deck's gas. Like I've got to play this deck. Like, and so there was a lot of just like mental like back and forth on trying to decide like what I just wanted to play, right, and like what I wanted to accomplish by showing up. Because like there's always like incredible support with the team and stuff, but like I'm also competitive with these guys, and like I wanted to show up and just like be like, yeah, no, you guys are a bunch of suckers. Like I'm the best, and like especially like I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I just like have a dry sense of humor, and I do talk a lot of trash, but it's all like in fun spirits, and uh, and so I was just like, man, like, do I want to just like prove to the world that Eggmill is like incredible, like that because there's so many people that just like misunderstand this deck, or there's a lot of like haters out there, and it's like, dude, like, no, this deck is nuts, like this deck is so good, or like, do we play like RDT, which is like was clearly a good call for the day. But it's just like a deck that we had also poured like a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears into as soon as the rock was announced, or Lunatone, I should say. We didn't even see the good soul rock yet. Um, but yeah, so like that's in general where my head was. Like I just like had like a lot of like things that I needed to decide on. What am I trying to accomplish? Do I want to try to push a new archetype? Do I want to try to prove to the world how good another archetype is? Um, what do I think is the best thing to win? And like leading up into like the night before, I didn't have the answers. Like I was just like, I think I'm in a good spot with all the lists. Like I'm very confident in every single list that we had, and it was just a matter of like, man, what's the call? Um,
Yeah, and
because we have
that was the most fun thing to me. Sorry to cut you off. Is totally that night before. I remember it, perfectly. We sat there, you and I, and some of the last games played leading up to the actual morning of, was a little bit of Drago Box and RDT back and forth, and it was almost instantly. It was like, okay, this looks very controlling and dominant. And then you ran a couple games of Eggmill into a matchup that particularly was a little bit troublesome for you. So, and in that moment, you were like, you know what? I'm playing RDT. That's it. It was instant moment of clarity for you, almost.
yeah. I think like a big thing like going into like a large tournament like this is like we watched the previous two tournaments where like Spence like top four and top eighted, and just like hearing like his testimony of the run that he had, where he was just like, yeah, bro, I was just like blowing people up with Raging Bolt. Like, and it's just like, yeah, that's like cool. Like, you're just winning games like off of your opponent fumbling, and you're I think with the way we say it is like you're playing the least amount of cards as possible. And art like box is a great example of that. RDT is clearly like that, where like showing up to a meta that's like not fully like I'm just gonna say it was actually like very like wide open. Like we had
Yes.
what we expected to see,
Mm-hmm.
um, based off of our testing results. But like people could have ended up on something completely different than what we had expected. So I thought like just having a deck that just like can win me the game just like pretty easily, and like make it to where like my day mentally is like not like I'm just like draining, because like some of the other control decks that we were considering were definitely way more mentally exhausting to play than what RDT was. And so like I just valued that going into the day. And I think I was like something crazy with RDT, like maybe like 8-1 or something with like the testing like the day before, or like the 2 days leading up to it. And it just felt really, really good. It felt so consistent, and I just wanted to be able to like show up and play the game. And that was like my main thought process behind it was like, let me just show up, let me be able to draw on my 7, and let me just be able to play. And because in testing, like we found, like with RDTs, like if you literally play the game, you just win most of the time. And so anyway, with like choice not to choose Egg Mill, I was definitely worried a little bit more about the Mucky Tina matchup.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to maneuver that. I was like constantly setting myself up for failure in testing, like giving my opponent hand of, okay, Wobbuffet start with Muscle Band plus Monkey on the bench with a Dark Attach and then random cards. I'm like, all right, can I beat this? And like it was like about like a 50-50 at that point, like giving that start. And I was just like, man, like I feel like I don't want to have to deal with this every round. Now, granted, we were off on what the most played psychic deck was going to be, and I think that it probably would have been okay with that matchup, but I just didn't know what to expect. So like, I was like, RDT, like I believe, like I mean, we saw it in the tournament, and then in my rounds, which I'll talk about. Like I felt so much better about the second matchup playing fighting, oddly enough, than I did playing control.
Yeah. And you said that in your interview after one of your rounds. You had called it. Even as far as to say, hey, I think that the psychic matchup is actually a favorable matchup for the way that we have this deck built, and we're actually going to get into, because you saw that most popular psychic deck in the room. We're going to foreshadow just a little bit, because this one's a little bit later on. We won't get to this one for a while, guys, but Ghouls definitely saw the full grip special. 8 guys, I believe, in the room from the full grip squad decided to get on a brew that was, handed to them by Mahone from every story that I've heard so far. So Mahone gives them this crafted deck with Garbodor, with Frillish, trying to item lock, ability lock, be very disruptive, and Ghouls did come up against it, and we'll give you guys a little bit of testament to that, and how it also, it played out that way for most of our guys throughout the day. The same kind of result from these two decks when they were paired up against each other. It feels kind of like a cool rivalry that was brewed. I mentioned it to Carpenter and all the guys there. I mean, it's starting to feel like, for all the sports heads out there, some Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. I know Ghouls is going to love that, because he's a total sports nut. Loves sports, right? Well, Ghoulies, so, you were confident coming in, and I felt that from you. Just in talks personal with you, it was like, hey, I'm here to win this event, and I think that I have what it takes no matter what I play. The last night you make that decision, you're like, we're just going to play the most consistent deck that gives us the best chance to win. I know that you had, we talked about Egg Mill and a couple of other decks that were on that path, but, it definitely was clear that choosing RDT, choosing this fighting deck that we had crafted was perfect into the meta. As we'll get into through some of your rounds, I can say, without spoiling anything, there wasn't a lot of bench barrier in this tournament, and that's one of those things where we have begun to understand what we think the meta is going to be walking into these events. This is our third one as a group, as a core group together now, so we kind of like to try to guess what people are going to be playing, and a lot of the decisions revolving around RDT was, okay, the most important decks in the room could play bench barrier.
Yep.
What do we do? So, without going into too much of that, because I know that we're gonna do like a deep deck dive a little bit later, and without even getting into your tournament run just yet, let's take a look real quick at the 60 that you played. I'm gonna throw the picture on screen that you sent to me of your actual list. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right, Ghoulies, so here it is. We've got the list up in front for everyone to see. This is RDT, Rock Dogi Ting Lu. Tell the folks at home about it a little bit.
Dude, this deck is nuts. This deck is super cool. So basically the general concept of the deck is like you are a just checkmate deck. So you are able to literally ask a bunch of questions very fast. And I mean, the deck attacks like from every angle, like that, like from an opponent, like you have to kind of be prepared for. And a lot of the decks like literally can't handle having to answer so many things. So you use the basic draw engine of Soul Rock and Lunatone. So the Lunatone lets you draw 3 energies, or lets you draw 3 cards if you discard basic fighting energy, if you have a Soul Rock in play. And that is a draw ability on a basic Pokemon, which is absolutely feral. And then the Soul Rock that we chose to play is the Soul Rock that hits for 70 damage, and it is not affected by weakness or resistance, which is massive. And then we also are playing the other just kind of like in your face, like Smash Mouth attackers. It would be Okie Dokie. Just a very good card. Statistically, it's able to, with a dark energy attached to it, it gets plus 100 health and it does 100 more damage. So it effectively has 230 health on a basic Pokemon and is swinging for 170 damage for just 2 energy, which again is absolutely broken. Then like probably like the highlighted card of the weekend would be Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu is also another card that just like literally asks the opponent like, hey, are you having a slow start? Okay, you are? Alright, just go ahead and sign the match slip like you're losing. So like Ground Crasher does 30, and then if you can discard a stadium and play, it doesn't have to be yours, it can be anything. It does 30 to all your opponent's bench as well, just for 1 energy. And then so like those kind of like 3 attackers, the Soul Rock, the Okie Dokie, and the Ting-Lu, are just like very, very fast, low maintenance attackers. And so the deck just tries to do that, right? It tries to be a very fast, consistent, low to the ground deck that is able to pressure your opponent's board just like better than any deck can in the format. Like that's how I'll phrase that.
And as early as the first turn of the game, very quickly. It's like one of the big basic speed decks that we're kind of becoming known for almost, right?
Yep. And then there's like a little bit of kind of like counter to like the counterplay that you're doing. So like the Lucario is just an incredible damage revenge attacker. For 1, it's doing 150 damage if one of your fighting Pokemon were knocked out by damage. And then the Blood Moon is nuts too. It does 100 damage for 2 fighting and a colorless, and then it does 100 plus 30 for each damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. Not total, but just like on one. And then it has an ability that when it comes into play, it can accelerate 2 fighting energy from your hand to it. So it can be powered up in 1 turn very easily. And it has 150 health. So it's a big boy for sure. Also, something as I'm talking about these, something really cool to talk about is that there are different weaknesses with the deck. Like half your deck is weak to psychic, half your deck is weak to grass. So there's a really solid way to kind of navigate, those type of weakness matchups. To round the deck off, you have Halucha. So Halucha is absolutely broken. It was my personal favorite card of the weekend. So what it does is it fixes math for a lot of things, and we'll talk about how it fixes math in the RDT video. But it also sets up your Blood Moon to be able to hit like a lot of other big basic Pokemon or just any guys for a knockout. So like one Halucha ping on a Pokemon makes it to where your Blood Moon is swinging for 130 damage. So plus the 10 health or plus the 10 ping really like cleans up a lot of things. Kyogre, Regidrago, all kind of like big attackers in the format. Raging Bolt, Lovely. I mean, 130 is a magic number in GLC. So is 140. And then to top it off, probably the card that got the most hype this weekend was Marshadow. And so Marshadow was the last inclusion of the deck. It was kind of like a last minute thought. We as a team had been testing a good bit of different fighting variants. And SBO had brought forward the Marshadow. And we just kind of saw how strong it was. I think it's a card that a lot of people wrote off pretty early because it only did 60 damage, right?
Right.
But you know where Marshadow is really good is against basic Pokemon early game. It's also really good after you've Ting-Lu'd a few times, and you can set it up. And then it then forces your opponent to start having to answer a bunch of different questions, which is like, it's really cool. Like invincibility, like you're straight up can't be hit by effects of attacks either. And it is only 2 fighting energy, so it's like it's pretty easy to power up via like Raihan and stuff, or just you tend to get ahead on attachments with the deck early. So anyway, it was a crazy card. Probably the least used card of the weekend, but whenever it was used, it was gross. Like it definitely earned its spot. Like so yeah, that's the general concept of the deck. It just aims to be low to the ground, and run your opponent off the board. And then if they do set up, like you have great answers to really anything.
Yeah, and it is a very clean list. Like we said, and we'll continue to say, we will have the RDT video coming out probably sometime in the coming week. So stay tuned for that, and you guys can see some of the other choices that we decided to make, supporter-wise, item-wise, exactly what went into crafting this deck. But in the meantime, let's get back to our man over here. And Ghoulies, now I think is that time where I'm going to ask you to kind of take me through your day. Sure. 7-round tournament, in the top cut, best of 3, new time rules for the first time ever in a major GLC tournament. We had the 1-turn rules. So take me through kind of your day. I'm going to give you the floor, and feel free to stop in any point and take a breath, but go for it, man.
Yeah. Well, first off, I mean, before I go through the whole thing, I just want to thank all my opponents that I had this weekend. They were all so incredible. Want to thank the judging staff as well. They were so sick the whole time. And thank Full Grip for hosting the tournaments to begin with. That's super cool. The whole atmosphere was super welcoming. It was just a super cleanly ran tournament, so it made competing just very easy. So just a big shout out to the Full Grip staff and all my opponents. So that being said, we can just get started with the very first round. First round was, unfortunately, I got paired into my teammate Evan Wiki. and he was playing it was a mirror match. And we decided, since it was the first round, that we just needed to play it out. And so we ended up doing it. It was very unfortunate, but it's just how it goes sometimes, when you flood the field with just like a bunch of muscle, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, so Evan and I played round one. I was able to beat Evan. He had some unfortunate prizing, and I was just off to the races. Um, that's really He had prized a rock, and he couldn't get to it, and so just naturally, you can just really outpace the opponent with resources if they don't have a rock and you do. So that's kind of how that went. It was it wasn't super close. Like, he tried, but again, he had some really rough prizing. So the second round was against a hydro pump player, um, and they were running Manaphy, actually, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
The one that
they
you faced all day with the Manaphy, huh?
yes,
Yeah.
and so he actually flipped over Manaphy to start the game, and I knew, just like, okay, well, I in that matchup, like, you can either just go like early Ting Lu, if they don't play the Manaphy, or just honestly attacking with Soul Rock is still going to get you like 3 prizes at least.
Yep.
Uh, and so I just started off by attacking with Soul Rock. I mean,
Right.
they opened Manaphy,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and start, swinging in, and you know, the name. I think I only had one game all day where like I just kind of like drew for the first few turns,
Mm-hmm.
and this was not one of them. So like I was coming in hot, and I eventually got to a point where they stuck themselves on an Iono or some kind of hand disruption, and they could not get the auxiliary out, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
And I think I took like maybe 4 turns off of a Ting Lu after I had knocked out it might have been 3 or 4. After I knocked out the Manaphy with Soul Rock, they had kept on trying to promote the Lapras to put me or confuse me.
Confused. Mm-hmm.
I literally drew out of it every single time. Like, I did feel like a little frustrating, but between like Guzma, um, BS Seeker, Escape Rope, like I was just able to kind of like play around it. And again, I just really capitalized. I saw that they had a dead hand, and just kind of punish from there. So that's how that game went. Round 3, I got paired against Lee Hoffman and another teammate, and so we had decided that it's a little bit later in the day, so we
Mm-hmm.
can afford to ID. So we did, and for him, he was lucky that we ID'd. Um,
It's hilarious.
sucker. But yeah, that's Box. Like, it actually is like a very favorable matchup. But he's an incredible player, so I know it would have been fun. But yeah, so we ID'd, and we just kind of like took a break and walked around the room and kind of like got a chance to see what everybody was on.
And just to let you guys know, we are going to be doing an exclusive Table Buddy drop in commemoration of Ghouls' win for this 3K event. We're going to be doing Marshadows for the community. So if you guys would like to pick up a Marshadow in commemoration of this fighting 3K win, hit us up on the Discord. The links to our Discord will be in the description, in the channel description below, and in the video description as well. So hit us up if you guys are interested in any of that or any of the other things that we're putting out from Team Turbo Blaze. Thank you.
So round 4, come back, and then I get paired into Brooke England. And so I got really excited to play against Brooke. Brooke is somebody who has now, after this past time, three-peated top 8. And so I was just very, very excited to like finally get a chance to play against Brooke. And it was like Brooke was playing Monkey Tina, which was a matchup that I mean, we had practiced a lot of. Like,
Right.
I mean, I was very confident in it. Psychic, I've I've been saying it. It's not a it's a good matchup. I actually think it's like a good matchup at this point. Um, the deck just puts out so much pressure. It's just hard for Psychic to compete. Mimikyu does absolutely nothing against you. Like can't even copy. Let's see, the worst thing it can copy is Marshadow,
Mm-hmm.
on like a Gusgale or something.
Right.
But you just don't give them that. Um, Literally all of your attackers are that conditional where it's like, it's not a good option, you know. Um, so luckily for me in this matchup, Brook prized Curlia and Galate.
Phew.
And so the start was pretty slow for Brook, and it just kind of like devolved into like me spreading with Tinglu a lot. And I think this was another matchup where I took 3 to 4 prizes with Tinglu.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, I had already kind of established a checkmate on board with Okidoki and the Bloodman. And so it was just basically game after the last Tinglu. Brooke was able to go take 2 prizes that game, but again, just like a slow start, and it's exactly what we say about the psychic matchup in general. It's like you're just able to pressure so much, and they have so many little guys on their board, right? Um, so that went to plan.
Yeah.
And it also helped that Brooke prized those. Monkey Dory did not come into play until I think Brooke got 2 Monkey Dories off. And I scoop up netted the first
The
monkey damage
damage.
too, so it's like a nullify like a cheap prize. Um, just kind of like put the nail in the coffin there. Let's see,
Yeah.
round
Another.
5.
So it
Oh, go ahead.
was Brooke on the boulder? Were they on the boulder? Yeah. Another thing about that matchup is like good luck getting to my 13 card hand that I'm gonna have by the time that it's all said and done. That's definitely a tough thing for them to match as well.
Yeah, because the Boulder players like have a way easier time matching lower hand sizes going down than they do going up. Especially when you're trying to like match, not only match hand size, but you're trying to disrupt the opponent when you're just like exploding. It's like there's a weird balance that they have to like figure out with hand like when to play their hand disruption slash when they can afford to like just match, right?
Right.
Uh, so yeah, the boulder is kind of weird. Also, I did not see any mine. I actually haven't gone back and looked at Brooks' list at all to see if there was mine. But the way it kind of like panned out, like there was just a lot of pressure. Um, and if there was mine, it was too late for mine to come down. Um, yeah, so it was great to meet Brooke as well. Round 5, I played against Evolving Dragons. So the list was super different. It was running Dracloak, Dragonite, Garchomp, and Flapple. So like actually a good bit of evolutions. And the basics I saw were Druddigon, uh, Berserker Drampa, and Regidrago. And they opened up Flapple or Applin, but this was the game that I drew. Excuse me, I drew very poorly on.
Okay.
And so this game started off by me just ground crashing with no stadium for 3 turns in a row to kill Flapple, like which felt really bad. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh man, this is not good. And meanwhile, they were hitting like all the gas and like setting up the board. It was like a little bit of a slower start for them as well. But I was able to get Okidoki going in this matchup. I didn't try to lean into Team Lowenhole even though they didn't have much barrier. Not knowing that they played the Drampa as well, it doesn't really matter damaging their board. I'm not worried about the Drampa. as much as like I want to make sure that all of their attacking targets had damage on them, so I could
Right.
blood moon them.
Blood moon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was like it's a weird situation, right? Where like the Tinglu gets KO'd, and then I promote the Okie Dokie and take a KO. At that point, they bring up Gartomp, and they hit me for 160, and I have the scoop up net in hand, and I just scoop up net the Okie Dokie and all of the damage on it, and I promote just like a Lucario for them to eat, and I drop another multi energy on the Dogi, and basically make it to where like if they have gust, then they can gust. And at this point too, they hadn't established the Dragonite yet. I think they were able to establish the Dragonite maybe on their last few turns. And so like I felt like pretty safe. They were also like having some energy droughts. I believe that they prized a few multi energies. And so I was just kind of able to take advantage of that. And I came up and knocked out the Garchomp. And from there, I believe I had some pretty like crucial like gust KOs, like on guys that were getting energies powered up slowly but surely. But that one basically boiled down to like going 2-for-1s. Like once I got through the Garchomp, I did take the first prize with the Tinglu, so it kind of like helped me stabilize a little bit. Feel like I can, even if like they are able to kind of keep up attachments, like I know that they will have a hard time at some point.
Right. Gave you a
But
better
yes.
chance to race from that point.
Mm-hmm. And I did again. There's a world where like you could maybe try Tinglu and then just Marshadow and all that, but I just felt like at that point I could just like Blood Moon and reoccur and win the race, so I didn't have to worry about that whole approach. So that was that round. I want to say like I ended up winning by like maybe 3 prizes, because like they really kind of like hit like a stopping point like after the Garchomp. So round 6 was on stream.
Yep.
Lo-Fi Water. It was my first time being on stream, like officially there, and like I was stoked. I was like, oh yeah, let's go, let's like show the world, like what, like hold up, you know what I'm saying? How much weight can it hold? And it was a lot. So I got paired into Lo-Fi Water. Again, another situation where the deck is just so fast. It's like, yeah, we can tingle and get a bunch of prizes, but like also like we just have Soul Rock. Soul Rock is really good into water. And there was a lot of different evolutions in the deck. So there was like the Inteleon line, there was the Kingdra line, and there was a Feraligatr line as well. I believe.
Yeah.
And
no, all that, you're correct. All that was there.
Palafin as well. Octillery.
The new Switch Stadium. It was a pretty cool list. I know one of our other guys took it on earlier in the day, so we had a little bit of insight going into it, and it definitely allowed you to get to really shine light. I remember I was out in the tournament at this point. I had scooped an earlier game to one of our teammates, and so I was just kind of playing while keeping my eyes to the big screen, and I see our boy Ghouls up there for the first time in that hoodie, all drenched in the darkness. I wore my hoodie tonight as a, for the guy.
Yeah.
But,
represent. Hashtag Archboard of GLC.
So you get through Lo-Fi Water in a, what is a pretty convincing matchup for you. That's your first win on stream. And at this point, what's the record?
The record is, what is that, 501?
501 at that point.
Yeah, 501. Okay. Like, I kind of realized at that point that I was like, whoa. Like,
we're here, right? Yeah.
Top 8.
Yep.
And Spence like waves me like to come outside, And bro, like I kid you not, like I just start like bawling my eyes out when I'm outside, and Spence starts crying, and we're like walking. What does he call it? He
The
calls it the
Akron
Akron.
Mile.
Yeah, the Akron Mile, and it's just like oh bro, like the amount the amount of time and effort that we put into the game, to like be able to like to fly across the country, the to just like first time there, like the amount of like off like non-card work that I had put in just like with my family, with you know just everything, like just making sure that like bro, like clean headspace, like compete, like I want to be uh you know just set up for success. Like it was a lot of hard work, and it just like, man, it just like all hit me, right? Like it all hit me. I was like, holy cow, like I think that it's safe to say that we probably take GLC like more serious
Yeah.
than most people in the world, and for something that we take so seriously, like it was just so emotional for me, because it was like we had put so much time. There's no way to track the amount of time that we put into this tournament, and it was just very humbling. Like I felt extremely blessed, extremely honored, um, and I was very grateful. Like I was like, dude, so like I was bawling my eyes out, and it's like in unbelief, like just like this is just so cool. And Spence is, all you guys have seen the amount of time that's gone into this, and so, dude, it was such so a wonderful moment to share with him. A bunch of dads crying outside of a game store. But it's for something like that we like genuinely love. It's something that we put so much time into, the community that we care for. Uh, and so it was just unreal. Like I had like the interview with Riley, and I like started crying
Yep.
um, about how grateful I was, and then it literally just spewed right out.
Into the parking lot. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
the
Well, I
Akron
mean,
Mile.
that's one of those things where, I want people to understand that this is a group that you definitely can relate to. We do take the game seriously, but when something like that happens and we're in the moment, man, there's going to be some emotions flying. It's one of these things where at this point we are definitely a family of friends. That's the best way to put it. And to see one other succeed, it literally uplifts all of us together. So for you and Spence to have that moment, and he's had that moment personally, getting himself into top 8 and being in a position where he was also one of the top seeded going in, and you're gonna get to speak here about your round 7 and the way that you guys were just able to kind of, hey, let's have a round off. But to have that preparation and to know that, hey, I'm at 5-0-1, and now we've got to lock in because now top 8's in front of us. So take me through your round 7. Both you and your opponent were undefeated, correct, at the time?
Correct.
Yeah.
I got paired into the Curse Kiss player
Yeah.
Noah.
Yep.
And so also a fellow onliner, so shout out to him. It's nice to meet him. So we ended up IDing, and then whenever the pairings were posted, or not the pairings, but the results were posted, I was first seed. And like, whoa, let's go, dude. And like you said, it was just like time to lock in. And I got my bracket, and it was just like literally ideal. I was like, dude, like this is crazy. Also, something that meant the world to me. Shout out to Luna.
Yes.
It's the absolute world to me. Luna, I thank you so much for believing in Enigma when so many people didn't. And just like seeing like you take it and make top 8 and show the world like how good it is. Like that was like one of those like huge blessings for me this weekend. Like not only was I able to win, but also like another deck that I've built and poured my heart and soul into was also able to succeed. And then also Luna has been putting in a lot of effort and really just like locked in on the deck. And so it was awesome seeing her just like back to back top eights.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like really, really sick. Beyond proud, beyond honored. And it was such a privilege just kind of like throughout the day to be able to watch her pilot and just kind of like, watch how the matches were going. And um, I couldn't have asked for like a better, better showing for the deck. So that was really, really cool. Um, so in top eight, I get paired against Trevor Redding, which I was super excited about as well. Trevor Redding is like a household name in GLC, so it was absolutely an honor to get paired and be able to play against him. Um, it's like Trevor and I actually messaged him this a few days ago, but I was like, like you and I, like, I, you don't know this because I didn't get a chance to show up to it, but like, we were on like the same wavelength for colorless. Like, I was like, dude, like, I love the build, like, and just a great player. Like
Yeah.
I mean, so consistent. Um,
As shown by his third straight top cut at these events. Yep.
insane player. Um, Also just like Tankman is like GLC history, right? Like,
Right.
uh, I mean, so yeah, Trevor's name for earlier, it still is online. Like earlier GLC, like easily one of the goats. So it was awesome getting to play against Trevor. I will tell you this: I was very well positioned.
Yeah.
Trevor was not playing Manaphy. Trevor was not playing Rough Seas, and Trevor was also playing 60 HP basics.
Two of
Um,
them.
yeah. So like the main ones you don't want to have 60 HP on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then of course like the other ones don't have the option to have more than
Yeah.
60 HP. Um, so it was pretty interesting because I could have really like leaned into Ting Lu. I did game one. Um, with having like closed deck lists, like your opponent doesn't know what you're cooking up. And especially like RDT was on zero people's radar.
Mm-hmm.
People had believed at this point that like Garganackle Okidoki loop was like the way you play this. And they just were not ready for the best way to play fighting. And yeah, so the top eight match goes game one, essentially board wipe with Tinglu.
Feral.
While
Started out turn one. I wanna stop this one for just a second. It's like I'm a water boy at heart, so like to watch the dismantling of the game one, it was pretty demoralizing. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, Trevor, and that's what Ghouls is talking about, this open decklist concept versus closed. Trevor goes wide very early in game one with again no bench barrier and the 60 HP basics. Turn one, Ghouls with very little going on. It didn't feel like there was much going on. He just played Hex and hit the active Sobble. Trevor had gathered the crew for the Remoraid. He hits the active Sobble for an innocent little 30 ping. Nothing to be alarmed about. But the next turn, that Sobble, which doesn't want to evolve into a Drizzile or Hex, gets KO'd. Trevor chased the Sobble Drizzile connection the whole game. It was complete board decimation, a 4 prize turn from the Ting Lu in one of the mid turns of the game. And by that point, okay, Trevor's down a game less than 20 minutes into the timer. So he adjusts his strategy in game two. Ghouls, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's some adjustments there where it was also paired with prizing too. I need to note that like he played town map and just like I think he played it both games if I remember
He
correctly.
did.
And okay, I'm just gonna take this moment to talk about town map for a second. Like it's a card that is it's a double-edged sword. Like so, like yes, like it's a way for you to be able to see your prizes, but like if you're showing me what's prized, I can play completely different, and like I will go for certain plays that I wouldn't know. Like if like say like Excalibur was prized or I
Which
don't
was
know.
the
And
case
so,
in one of the games.
yeah, game two, Excalibur was prized for sure.
Hmm.
Uh, so like he pops off and gets like a turn two whale on me.
Yeah.
So and that's okay. Like it's like one of those things where like you're like okay, you have six prizes. Like I just like have to keep on doing what I'm doing. The whale will get knocked out at some point. It's just when I decide to like play the damage buffs and kill it or something.
Hmm.
Um, and there was a lot of speed that he got off turn two, and just kind of like knockout, knockout, knockout. But like also was not developing a board at all. Um, and so there was just like some couple of like soul rock attacks. I was trying to line up a Marshadow kill on the whale, but unfortunately it just did not pan out that way to where I could set it up.
Okay.
And so like I just kind of like had to do a different route. I had to go with the Ting Lu to finish off,
Hmm.
or not Ting, sorry, Okie
Okie
Dokie to
dokie.
finish off. You know, a whale that just had a buttload of damage on it, which is unfortunate. But anyway, it did the job. And with no board like on there, it's just like once you deal with the whale, like there's not a whole lot. I knocked out the moth, I believe, and there was just no energy acceleration left on board at that point. And at that point, if you have no energy acceleration as water, you know you can pivot between the Kyogre, you can pivot between the Wishiwashi, but unfortunately, Wishiwashi is a pretty bad attacker into RDT
Right.
with the fact that you can like hit it with like one ground crasher, and like they commit those energies, then it gets lost. And there was a turn where I set up checkmate on him where I just like pinged with the Halucha
Hmm.
and got the Kyogre down to 130, but it was able to be killed by Blood Moon. I also dropped the Blood Moon as well. I had a or not a Kyogre, an Okie Dokie like swinging, taking
Yeah.
knockouts. And so after I knocked out the whale, Trevor had to decide what to deal with. Um, and so he chose, I think he chose to snipe the Blood Moon.
Blood Moon with the two energies on it, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Yeah, which was left my Okie Dokie like
To
rock and
swing
rolling.
again. Yep.
Yeah, and I think I also just had Clara as well. Towards the end of the game, if I remember correctly, I could miss remembering. But at that point, like again, with no board state, with no backup Hydro, like Rain Dancer, there's just so much you can do. Um, and then there was like a Iono or like a hand disruption down to one, and I
Hmm.
happened to
Yeah.
draw into, yeah, it was gas. Like I drew into the lilies off of the one, and I top decked Lucario
Yeah.
like on top of it. And so it was just like another like okay, this is checkmate. And I like hit like card to like bump out like who he didn't want me to kill. I think I got another kill in with the Tinglu maybe at that point or Soul Rock. I think it's Soul Rock. Um, Again, just committing like low resources, keeping the Okie Dokie ready to go. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it was. I
Yeah.
didn't get a KO on the Clara, but I was just able to set up like a checkmate against him. I had it where like I just had to attach one energy to the Lucario to get a revenge KO, and then I also just had the Soul Rock that could just like come in and hit for a few turns. Because I think the only guy that was left was the Kyogre,
Hmm.
and um, that's not going to do much. So anyway, that was how top eight went.
Pretty quick
Um,
2-0 on the stream.
very
So,
quick too. Um, then I literally got paired into Dre with Colorless, which is a matchup I did not expect to see.
right.
But
Especially at
shout out
that late
to
in the stage of the tournament. Right.
100%. But shout out to Dre, great opponent. It was awesome chatting as well and getting to know them. So you can imagine colorless would be a cakewalk.
You'd think.
Yeah, and it was.
Right.
It was so funny. So like Cordy was judging,
Mm-hmm.
and you know,
Walk
so
us through that first turn.
yeah. So okay, Dre opted to go first. Like that was just kind of like the whole like angle that they chose to go. So they go, and Rotom set up their whole board, and then they get the Ditto out. That like if it's in the active spot, it shuffles or discards itself, and then you search your deck for a Pokemon and put it in the active spot.
Yep.
It goes and grabs like Snorlax, and then attaches a therapeutic to it. So it's like I'm like, okay, we're coming in hot.
Oh.
But I came in hotter. So like I go through my turn and I'm just shredding through it. Like I get like all my like energy searches like basically on like one turn.
Yep.
I hit like the pivot and I end up dropping Blood Moon with 3 energies on turn 1.
Why not?
And then knocking out the Snorlax for 200 damage. And like it was just all downhill from there. Like I just kept on the gas. With the Blood Moon, I established a Okie Dokie in a game. It was just like, all right. I mean, this is all I need to win, and it was pretty bad from just like a pressure standpoint. It was just very hard for them to be able to deal with that. So then, game 2 goes, and Dre does like opts to go first again. It's also interesting to note that Dre did not play the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a very like draw forward engine, like in the Dodrio and the Chinchino, also opting to play a Ringaroo and also playing Scobit. So this is another thing where like there's a bunch of different routes you can go with this. You could go like Ting Lu in this matchup. You could go Marshadow. You could go just big fighting guys and just try to win the prize race. And so game 1 I went big fighting guys. Game 2 I go and I like bench Marshadow and attach an energy.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Like basically like there was no KO on the Marshadow. And then I was able to promote the Marshadow and start taking knockouts.
Which at this point, literally at this point in the tournament, for the first time all day, we were stopped. So we were stopped in the middle of the turn, and Cordy, the judge, and the opponent, they say, I think Marshadow works if you were knocked out last turn. And Ghouls, of course, has a Japanese full art Marshadow laying on the table that none of us can read. Can't nobody in the room read that thing. So we had to get the translation real quick and discuss the fact that, yes, it is in fact when Marshadow takes a knockout, it becomes invincible.
Yep.
Poor Dre had to learn that right then.
I want to preface this too. I had not attacked with Marshadow all along. I opted to never use it. I opted to never go for it.
Yeah.
I never felt like any of the moments called for it other than, the top 8. I was trying to finish the whale off with the Marshadow. So I've always said like, okay, Marshadow is going to be used in this matchup,
Mm-hmm.
and I just happened to land on colorless.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to be gnarly. And the only like Pokemon that you have to kind of like be wary of is the Hops Cramorant, and if they run the Dodrio.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's like just extremely easy to play around because the Dodrio, you're gonna see it getting damaged from like a mile away.
Right.
And the more it damages itself, the better your Blood Moon enjoys it. And then also the um, Cramorant, you know exactly when it's gonna hit. Um, and so I can't fully remember. I don't I don't remember having to deal with Cramorant too much. Game two, I felt like I was just like able to like hit the gust like pretty consistent on the
Mm-hmm.
draw engine, to prevent like hands from ever getting really really big. Um, Marshadow is great whenever you're for gusting down like support Pokemon.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so it just like happened where like I literally had the gust, the escape rope, like every turn, like every time I needed it. There was a promotion. They Dre kept on promoting the Dodrio with like a Luxcape on it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't burned my blower yet. So I was just like, okay, well, let me either hit blower or even if I just like hit into this thing right now, then it's gonna be like toast, like with just one of my follow up bench guys that I had. Um, and it just was like I like hit the gust every turn, like it was just pretty feral. Um, you see so many cards with this deck, it's not uncommon just to see those cards.
Right.
And then even if you don't need to hit the the gust the following turn, like you can like take that turn to play Senlin and get like back the gust, like to draw forward or something. Um,
Yeah, there were some
so yeah,
feral plays hit during that colorless
yeah,
game. There were some insane. There was a scoop up net play that made me get out of my chair and walk towards the door. Dre was such a cool opponent, but at the same time, it was one of those where the reason why it was so cool was because every time that you would put him in an even deeper pickle, he would just be like, "What am I supposed to do?" I mean, it was tough to watch. Really cool for him to have made it to that point. I know he also did well the day before in the standard event, if I remember correctly. He also had a
yeah,
pretty good finish the day before, so to see him, go from standard straight over into GLC with a completely off the wall brew in a meta that definitely didn't dictate that colorless should be at the top tables
yeah.
was there. So
Yeah, I think Dre had said that this was also like maybe his second tournament playing GLC as well.
super cool.
So yeah, very cool. Yeah, so that's how top four went. I couldn't have asked for a better matchup. Um,
Now let
I
me
was really.
go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was sweating playing Eggmill just because like I know how good that deck can be. Um, but like I just wanted. I also kind of like wanted to meet Luna in the finals as well.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Now, unfortunately, Luna was eliminated in top eight. But anyway, so we like make it to the finals after that.
Well, let me set the stage for you. So this is where we come up. Ghouls, for the first time all day, is set to come up against a full grip local, full grip, star celebrity Jesse Parker, world's top, world's semifinalist, very accomplished player in Pokemon history at this point. And Jesse is one of the players that was given the deck by Andrew that was to be played for this event to try to take down the event. It featured some off-the-wall cards like Garbodor trying to lock opponents' abilities. We had the Frillish in there that was trying to item lock as well. And like I said, a bunch of our guys had either hit this deck, sat beside this deck, watched it operate all day long. So there was a lot of good intel for Ghouls going into this match. I know he and I spoke literally outside the restroom right before, and he says to me, so this is a Ting Lu match, right? This is a Ting Lu match. And at this point, I'm watching Ghouls play Pokemon. I look at him and I say, just play the game. Don't try to focus on any one strategy. We have seen that we can beat this all day long. You just go do it. And so
Yeah.
Ghouls versus Jesse Parker, Turbo Blaze versus Full Grip, finals. Let's go.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments of the tournament, by the way, Logan, was like you looking at me, he's like, just play the game. Like you just do what you do. Don't ask me what to do. Like I'm just like, I haven't played against this deck yet. Like I wasn't worried about it in the slightest because it just like doesn't have great answers to like what we do, and I'm just like, all right, well, it's like I guess it's a tingling matchup, and
60 HP basics, no bench barrier.
yep, and it turned out to be a Marshadow matchup.
Yeah, baby.
So, yeah, I'm like, just I'm at this point in the tournament, I'm so tired, like I'm mentally just like exhausted. I'm like, I didn't eat anything like all day except maybe like Cliff Bar, and I think I drank like 3 bottles of water leading up to this. And so I'm just
For the record, honey, I begged him to eat all day long. I offered to go get Wendy's 3 separate times for the man.
yeah, I was just like, no, I can't mess up my stomach. I kind of just like keep on keeping on. The squad definitely had the support there. Spence had even gotten me a coffee, but I was just like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And so like we sit down, we shuffle up, and I just open Lone Marshadow turn one. Um, in my hand, I had Guzma, 2 energies, and a Iono, and like I think a Power Plus or some. I call it Fight Milk. I'm gonna call it Fight Milk. And I'm just like, oh man, no other basics, no other ways to search basics, and I'm staring down the barrel of an Iron Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, dude, I'm about to get smoked. And it was one of those moments where like he like digs off of a juniper
Yep.
and doesn't draw it, and I'm just like, he says, "Well, I guess we get to play the game." And yeah, huge like relief. So like I draw the next card. All right, so I just Iono, and Jesse had benched like 2 small basic Pokemon,
Yep.
and I had the game, and I'm just like, well, looks like we're about to get creative today. Because to be honest with you, I wouldn't have tried to go Marshadow if I didn't start it. But I just started it, so I was like, well, I guess I'll do it. Well, like, and it just turned out to like set the tone for the whole match. Like, it ended up being extremely strong. I'm just talking right now about how I'm playing this matchup, and one of the things I can't stress about the deck enough is how it is just it's a toolbox deck, and it just rewards like I think Andrew was talking about it. It was really encouraging to hear him talk about it. Just like fundamentally, like the deck um just really like lifts you high if you have good fundamentals. And so I mean the another cool thing also, just I didn't state this enough, but I want to really stress this. A lot of the times with the deck this weekend, um, I did not. I actually just held energy sometime, and I held
Right.
supporters. Like sometimes I just like wouldn't play anything because I was just like, don't need it. Yeah, I miss energy drops every once in a while, but a lot of times it's like, okay, I'm gonna hold this to see if I need to attach it or if I need to draw.
Next turn.
Um, and so it was just like very conservative. Um, and it just like really paid off. But yeah, so I literally game one, I take a Marshadow route and I try to take as many KOs off of Marshadow. He ends up having a really hard time responding to it, being able to
Yeah.
gust it, and then being able to match hand size. So that was just kind of how game one really went, and I kind of shaped my plays around being able to respond with like Marshadow or something like that. Game two, he goes Frillish,
Yes.
and I was like pretty happy. So I think people think that Frillish is good against the deck for some reason. Because it's like, oh, item lock, slow you down, and but like, you're literally a big basic deck, and you're spreading, and so they have a 3 retreat Pokemon that's only hitting you for 20 damage a turn. Big deal if they attach the
Horror to it. Mm-hmm.
The horror, yeah, the horror energy, because you're not. Turns out you're not damaging it, so you don't take any damage anyway. So they're giving you so much time to spread. And Psychic typically likes to play D Valley, so that's a guaranteed like stadium that's going to come down at some point. And then like you have yours, all four of your stadiums. So yeah, it became a Ting Lu game. It's like setting things up and just checkmating, like having like the spread there. Like, are you going to play against spread? Well, if you do, like I've got the boys on the back. They're ready to come in. And Okie Dokie, even though it's weak to Psychic, is fantastic into the Psychic matchup.
Right.
Lucario is fantastic into the Psychic matchup. Like hitting all these numbers over resistance is huge. Solrock is fantastic in the Psychic matchup. Even after you Ting Lu a few times, like I think I came up in what I bought was it game one? I bought the Iron Boulder for like 100 damage with the Solrock. And I set it up for a KO off the Marshadow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Psychic just doesn't have, like, I feel like fantastic attackers against, like, things you're trying to do. And so, again, like, with them running Garp, like, it's fine. Like, you have 2 Gust to kill it, and so you get your drawback, or, like, you could literally play Blower. Because, again, them sitting there hitting you with item lock is not doing jack squat to you. It's totally fine.
That was what you did. You had gusted up a Garb and hit a Garb for 100 too. That was another, really filthy play. He finally was able to get the Garbodor established, and you just brought it up and said, "Yep, sorry."
Yeah, it just didn't matter.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing too? In game 2, while they were just sitting there hitting me with the item lock, I just started attaching to Ting Lu, and I'm like, okay, like I'll one hit you like whenever I'm ready to. I think at one point I just go ahead and commit the other energy, knock it out. At that point, I wanted to say I had Okie Dokie. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a few days. But it's just like an easy like response, and like Jesse is just like drawing dead.
Yes.
Just drawing dead. Break. I want to say he bricked his hand off of a judge.
Yep.
And again, like I see, like they're only out to like consistency is Cleffa, and they can't afford to Cleffa, like even bench the Cleffa.
Right.
There's like a weird like pivot situation where they like cannot get fresh hand. If they do, they're just giving up a prize, and then you just fall way behind on that. So it is like his like main consistency got taken out. But game 2 felt really, really quick as well. There was just after the break, it's just like, okay, like I'm just gonna like move forward and just attack and call it a day. And I think at a certain point, like you just realized like he was just like checkmated.
It was the Goose Hollow, I think. You had like Karina to hold the tag call for the following turn, then the tag call brings your Goose Hollow out, and it was just like, oh yeah, he's either gonna get another stadium and board wipe, or the Tinglu or the Okie Dokie's getting the energy it needs. Either way, it was at that point that Jesse went ahead and extended the hand, and at that point that you become a Full Grip Games champion. We, as a collective sitting in the peanut gallery, as Natalie called it all day, we had talked, and I was of the full mindset, hey, this guy wins, it's going to be full on, let's rush the court, like in basketball or in any other sport. We're going to go dogpile our guys. And so you hit the win and immediately are met with the dog pile. The emotions are overwhelming again. I can feel it. You're just like, we're holding on for everything. All the hard work put in paid off. And that's kind of like where I want to get some of your last thoughts. This is, you've had some IRL events where you've played standard in the past. You've had some bubbles in day twos that you've mentioned. You've talked to me about that for the longest time. You've had some success in the online scene for Gym Leader Challenge, Async Championships, and you're widely known as one of the best players in Gym Leader Challenge on the internet. Now to be able to come to an IRL event, back that up in person, play through an entire day of Pokemon, how does it feel to know, you're here, you're on top of the world, and it's really the world is your oyster right now, Ghouls.
Yeah. Well, it feels unreal. Like, first off, I mean, the feeling that I feel the most is just feeling thankful. Like, feeling thankful for the ability to, for Collector's Connection, for the sponsorship, for me to be able to fly out there in the first place. Like, that's unreal. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I feel my team. You guys have just been there for me. Like, you guys have sat there every day. Every day, we talked on the phone for hours. Doctor's office, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we say when we call each other, and there's multiple people on the line. We say doctor's office. And straight up, like, you guys have believed in me. You guys have encouraged me. You guys have supported me when a lot of people haven't. You guys have had my back when a lot of people have, not necessarily been kindest to me. Like, and I appreciate you guys for listening to me, for listening to my ideas all the time. For I have good ideas and bad ideas, and then hopefully more good than bad. But like, those ideas don't get fleshed out unless if I'm talking about them constantly, or like theory crafting, or like and then testing, right? Like, you guys, but we always say like iron sharpens iron,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of being able to like have a squad there that's like, yeah, I'll play against you with Eggmill. Like, that's sick, dude. So I feel thankful. I'm grateful for my wife for, uh, you know, the love and support that she's given me through this, and just allowing me to, be able to leave for the weekend again and play in these IRL events. And it's definitely not going to be the last. And so I'm excited about that. I just like feel like today, I feel confident. I feel like validated. I feel like I'm just really, really excited for Pokemon, and I'm super excited for the community. Like, I'm excited to share with the Turbo Blaze community, like, all of our thoughts, like, all the stuff that we did leading up to this event, right? Because, like, we have decks on decks on decks that literally we could have chose from. And so many things were a hid secret from the community at large. And I just am excited to, because Logan, our community is awesome. They're incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I love you guys. Like, I appreciate everybody that chimes in for our tournaments, that like watches our videos, that like hangs out with us in the tables. Like, I really appreciate all y'all's support and again, believing in me. Like, it's awesome. It's really cool. I feel like I can beat anybody. I feel like I want to beat everybody. And I want to win another one. I want to go up and play against Andrew at some point. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But yeah, more than anything, I'm just sitting here thankful for the ability to just like play the game I love, to have a community of just people that are supportive, that are encouraging, and that just straight up like deal with all the baloney I throw their way, because it's a lot. So that's Yeah, dude. It's feeling like $1,000,000 for sure.
Well, we are super thankful for you, Ghoulies. We are super thankful for all the work that you put in, all those calls, all those hours. I swear there's not a minute of time that goes by in this guy's day that he is not thinking about some kind of crazy Pokemon deck or idea and putting it to the grindstone with all of us. I know that I don't believe from right this second that Ghoulies will be in attendance for Phantasmal in November, probably looking at somewhere around the beginning of the year for him. And we are probably looking at attending NAIC in his hometown at the middle of next year. So definitely stay tuned for all of us here at Team Turbo Blaze and what we are planning on doing in the near future. I know there are a lot of us who are planning on attending the Phantasmal Flames event, so get ready to see a defense from this group of guys.
Yep.
And with that, Ghoulies, I think that this is a perfect time to, once again, you just did it. We'll shout out our sponsors. Website one more time. That's collectorsconnection.duluth.com. Check them out for their list of events. We're very proud to be in partnership with them. Very thankful and proud of our guy Ghouls for bringing home this 3K championship to Team Turbo Blaze. And like he said, this is the first of many to come. So thank you all for spending a little bit of time with us. Congratulations, Ghouls. Anything you want to say before we head out, man?
Yeah, man. Just ready for the next one. Ready for the next Turbo Blaze win. And you aren't going to be ready for the next one either. So it's going to be great.
Good. Well, again, guys, thank y'all for spending a little bit of time with us tonight. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.